Over the past year or so, I've been making more of an effort to make things at home instead of buying them at the supermarket. When you start doing that, you very quickly realize that you can make a lot better quality at home. One of my favorite examples of that is bourbon vanilla extract, which I made last January, so January 2024, and there's the level that we're at. Currently, the flavor is amazing and the cost is incredibly less than buying this much bourbon vanilla extract at a supermarket. I'm going to show you how to make that today. Incredibly simple. But I have a few other examples of some things that I love making at home instead of buying. And in fact, some of these things I don't think you even can buy. This is plantain infused oil. And I'm going to be making a salve with it that is really good for bug bites and minor wounds that usually happen in the summertime. I made this in early March. I'm just letting it sit for about 6 weeks and then I'll make a salve with it. I use fractionated coconut oil, so the oil is completely clear. So all the color you see has been extracted from the plantain, which means that slowly it is extracting all those medicinal benefits. This I made recently on this channel as well is a garlic, like a fermented garlic honey. So that I'll use as a cough syrup. And also, on pizzas or whatever. It's probably day 7 or so of it sitting in this honey. The honey is all nice and liquid, so things are happening. I actually forgot to burp that, meaning open the lid and let out some of the fermentation gases, so it definitely popped just there when I opened the lid. I need to remember to do that more often, but it smells divine. Nice and garlicky and very medicinal. I also have this calendula infused olive oil on the go still. I've been meaning to make one of my sons has very sensitive skin, and I've been meaning to make him a body lotion with this infused oil. This has been infusing for, I don't know, honestly, probably like 5 months at this point. So it's very much ready to get strained off and made into a salve. I hope to do that soon, and I'll share that on this channel when that is ready to go. As always, the full recipe for how to make this is over on documentingsimpleliving.com, and I'll leave a link for that down in the description. I learned how to make this about 2 years ago, and I loved the simplicity of it. This sort of thing is in some way a bit luxurious. Like if you were to go to a shop and buy a vanilla extract, a bourbon vanilla extract this size, this is 700 milliliters, it would be like, 50 pounds or, $70. And you can just buy a bottle of bourbon, buy some vanilla beans, and it's probably about half the cost. That is the case I find with so many things. You can make simple, nourishing infused oils and herbal remedies and natural remedies at home for a fraction of the cost. If you're like me, it matters where you put your money right now. I like to have high quality food, but if I were to buy it all at like the biggest supermarket, there's no way we could afford that. I wanted to share this with you in case you also want to give it a try. So what you need to make it is bourbon. I buy these big bottles because I'll go through the cost breakdown at the end of the video, but it turns out that if you invest in the larger bottle, you save money long term. And then I bought these Indonesian vanilla beans. There are 2 quality types of vanilla beans. There are the grade A, which I believe they have more moisture. They're usually used for baking and cooking applications because you can open them up and easily scrape out the seeds to have that vanilla flavor infused into whatever you're making. The grade B beans are drier, they're more dehydrated. They're actually used more commonly in making extracts because they have a more concentrated flavor. What matters the most if you want to do a proper vanilla extract is the weight of how many beans you put in compared to how much alcohol you have. So you can use either grade that you can find. Grade B beans tend to be less expensive, so if you can find them more easily and they're less expensive, you can use grade B. So the basic premise of making vanilla extract is simply putting the beans into your bourbon for 12 months. To make a really rich, proper extract, you do want to leave it about 12 months. I usually make this in a big bottle and then pour off little bottles worth to give as gifts at Christmas. I'm obviously only making this now and it's already like mid-March, so by the time Christmas comes around again, this won't be a full 12 months, but I'll give it a taste and see if it's good enough to give as a gift. It probably will be just fine, but ideally you want to leave your extract sit for about a year. You can make a single fold extract or a double fold. A single fold is the standard quality of vanilla extract that you find at the store. A double fold is basically double that. Mainly in like baking applications, some recipes you need to have a very strong vanilla flavor without having a ton more liquid. So if you have a double fold vanilla extract, you can have that increased flavor without having to like double the amount of vanilla extract that you put into your recipe. I make a single fold. It also saves on the cost because you don't have to have like double the amount of beans. If you want to make a double fold, you would just double the amount of beans that you need. The ideal ratio that you're looking for to make this is about 13 ounces of beans per gallon of alcohol. What that means when you break it down into like more this size of a bottle, about 3.5 ounces of beans, which is about 100 grams, to my 700 milliliter bottle of bourbon. Right now what I'm gonna do is weigh my beans to see how many I need to put into this bottle to make a fresh batch. I have beans from my last batch still in this bottle, and I do tend to reuse beans to make 2 batches. So after 2 batches, I will compost the beans. I'm trying my best to explain this. This seems to me like a very simple process, but I can't tell if I'm being clear in how I'm explaining it. I didn't get very much sleep last night because my children are not sleeping at the moment. Obviously, if you have any questions, add a comment or email me. I'm gonna put them on this plate. So how many beans do I actually have here? Okay, so 30 grams of beans. Ideally, I would have 100 grams, so I'm very much short of what I need. I'm going to hope that what I have in this bottle will be enough. Okay, look at that. We're almost there. So I'm at 95 grams, and I was looking for about 100. So I'm happy with that. I'm just gonna get started on the next step. With the old beans, after 2 batches are made with them, I tend to not use them to make this anymore. But you can use them in other ways. You can scrape out all of the seeds, the insides of these pods, that have been soaking and soaking and soaking in this bourbon for, 2 years basically. You can add the seeds to some sugar and make a really delicious vanilla bourbon infused sugar. You can add those seeds right into homemade ice cream, or if you're making some sort of dessert with vanilla, you could add those seeds in as well. They're super, super flavorful and delicious. So I've cut all my beans. Now I'm going to open my bottle of bourbon. So I'm just opening the bottle. There we go. Now all you need to do is put the beans right into the bottle. So I'm going to do that. Starting with the old beans, they're sinking down to the bottom because they've already absorbed so much of the booze in the other bottle. Oops. An important thing to do before you start making your extract, which I neglected to do because I forgot, is to remove some of your alcohol. Because obviously when you put the beans in, it will take up some of the space in the bottle, and eventually it will overflow when you put the beans in. You can see all those beans in there. That is how it will sit in our pantry for a year. I'm gonna put the top on, and that's that. So simple. I use this just like normal vanilla extract, but it does have a more deeper caramely flavor because of the bourbon. Most vanilla extracts are made with vodka, so a very neutral flavor, but this one has that deeper caramely flavor, which I really like in everything, like in muffins and pies and cookies. I just like that extra depth of flavor. Now I'm going to cost out the price of making it yourself versus buying it online. I have a feeling that it will be much cheaper to make your own, but let's see. So I've been looking on Amazon. I found this brand here in the UK, at least. Not the best reviews, but I honestly couldn't find very many bourbon vanilla extracts. So this is one I could find, and it was kind of mid-range in terms of price. It's £15.25 per 100 milliliters. So my bottle of bourbon was 700 milliliters. I did $15.25 times 7, which is $106.75. And that is how much buying the same quantity of this vanilla extract would cost. I paid £30.99 for my bottle of bourbon. For the pods, I bought only one pack, and I think if I hadn't had the other ones already, I would have had to buy two. Two of those would be $16.90. So the total cost, at least here in the UK, for you to make this extract, 700 milliliters worth of extract, would be about £48, and to buy the equivalent amount would be, as I said, about £106, over 50% savings. So I hope you try making your own extract. Definitely if you are looking for a high quality vanilla extract and something a bit special like a bourbon vanilla extract, it's cost effective to make your own. I mean, that will last you definitely a year. If you want to print off this recipe or save it, remember to go to documentingsimpleliving.com for the full recipe. Let me know how you get on in the comments, and I will speak to you in the next video.